All right, you two, what's up? What's up? I'm here with my boy Jordan Forbes, point guard at Salem University. How you doing today, Jordan?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. I know y'all just finished up the season, and how would you say that that you all finished up the last couple games, and how's everything been for you on campus?
I mean, I think we finished due to the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? I would say that's a slight excuse, but I would say, I mean, coming back off the pandemic, taking 2 months off of basketball, we had 6 games left in the season. Coming back over that, so I mean, we went 3-3, which is, I mean, that's okay. That's at least 500 basketball, but I think we could have did a lot better. But due to the pandemic, I think we still did a good job of managing things and still having fun with it at the end of the day, because everybody didn't get to play a season, so it was still good to get back out there even after the pandemic. And like I was just telling you before we started, I'm not even on campus right now. I'm actually back at home for a week and a week half. Birthday just passed on March 12th, so really just been down here chilling outside hoopage, enjoying the good food,
Yeah, I feel
and
that.
really just been relaxing.
Yeah, well, happy belated birthday for one. What are you,
Appreciate
20,
it, man.
22,
20, 20,
23?
23, 23.
Okay, okay, the
The
big
true,
two,
the
three.
true Jordan year.
Yes,
The true Jordan
sir.
year.
I love that, man. Yeah, and I know you brought up the pandemic, and obviously it affected everybody. In, the winter sports and basketball season, but for
Yeah.
y'all especially, I was following closely with y'all. How long was it in between y'all's games? What was it like? 6 weeks in between games at one point, or 4 or 5 weeks, something like that.
Um. I mean, one of our. I just remember everybody saying 2 months, but I know our
Did y'all
last
go
game, I
two
want to
full
say before
months?
the pandemic, it was like December 12th, or like
Yeah.
it was something like that. But I mean, it was definitely a big gap between right after Christmas break, basically, until we got to play again. Basically,
Yeah,
it was
y'all went
pretty.
from like second week of December, and I think y'all didn't play another game until February, like early February, I think.
Yeah, yeah, it was. I think it was like February. It might have been February. Yeah, might have been February.
That's crazy, man. I know you've never experienced anything like that in a basketball season, but just in your own personal experience, like how was that for y'all to stay focused and stay motivated and just that's got to be tough.
Yeah, that definitely was tough, just mentally and, I mean, physically staying in shape. I mean, you take a week off of basketball, more than likely you're going to be out of shape. That's really for any sport, but with basketball, you're constantly going up and down, so you really got to stay in shape. But I mean, for me, just personally, I mean, that was definitely different. Staying focused was hard. I mean, even trying to get into the gyms, the gym times were so strictly scheduled. You couldn't even just walk in there anymore, like at any time. You still had to have people like schedule you for gym times, and then you got to have people like sanitize the gym after you use it. So it definitely was a tough time. So it was really about staying on top of your academics, staying out of trouble in quarantine. I mean, getting in the gym when you can, and just trying to stay mentally prepared, because I know a lot of people were broke mentally. He didn't stay like consistently focused, like from the time we got back all the way to the final game. So it definitely was a tough challenge though.
Yeah, and I think that's really a testament to all the coaches out there, man, because I know all the players were getting antsy and things like that. And it made, a coach's life in college basketball is never easy. You know that. But, this
Yeah,
type of season, y'all's coaches really had to stay focused and really had to stay organized and just to keep people motivated. It's already tough in a long, grueling season, but you're going 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks without in between games. I just know
yeah,
mentally that takes such a toll on everybody involved. So, kudos to the coaching staff keeping y'all ready. And I know it wasn't easy.
yeah, for sure. Shout out Coach Ford for that, and shout out Uncle Brent for that, for staying ready in the training room, because he definitely was a big factor in all this. Just even the small details is keeping the mask up and coming to get your COVID checks if you need to, and all that type of stuff. Really just fighting for extra games, because like I said, everybody didn't get to come back and play a season after the pandemic. So even just to get 6 games, that was fun for me.
Absolutely, man. And you bring up a good point when you talk about, not everybody got to have a season this year. I mean, there was even some small mid D1 teams that either didn't play the season or they canceled the season like a few weeks in. So just to be
Hmm.
able to play a season at all, you got to be grateful for that, and
Yeah,
seems
got to
like
be
you
grateful.
got a lot of gratitude in your heart. So that's nice to hear.
Yeah.
So Jordan, for you, obviously y'all had a historic season last year, and I was really
Hmm.
happy and lucky to be involved with it on the
Yeah, for
sideline.
sure.
But what really made that team so special? Because for people that didn't get to see, because I got to watch a lot of it, and I got to see that high, fast-paced offense, and you leading the helm really, and Coach Ford trusting in y'all to do that. But what do you think made that season different than other seasons at Salem?
Uh, uh I mean, you could give a lot of credit to a lot of people. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
obviously it's a team game, so
Takes a
everybody
village.
gets. You said what?
It takes a village, man. It takes so many
Yeah,
people to have a
it
season
does
like
take a
that.
village. It does
Yeah.
take a village. It takes a whole team effort. But I mean, I would give a lot of credit. Not to sound selfish, I would give a lot of credit to myself last year. I would give a lot of credit to Coach Ford. Um, a lot of the coaching staff, even Coach Brent, and just as a whole team, we kind of started out. We didn't start out shaky last year. I can't remember our record through like the first 6 games, but I know we didn't start out how we wanted to. But I know when we started to lose a couple people in rotations and we clicked on that 11-game win streak, I think everybody just had an attitude and a mindset of just playing for the next man. It was just strictly about playing for the next man. And to win 11 games in a row, I mean, that's really tough to do at any level, any sport. Like, we really got to be locked in as a team. So I mean, I'll give a lot of credit to Coach Ford. Kept us balanced, kept us on the heels. Never got like too excited just because we were on a 7-game win streak. Like, it was always about the next game and playing for the next man. So I give a lot of credit to that team last year. We did big things for Salem last year.
Yeah, and you brought up something else that was interesting to me. You talked about just the mindset shift. That was really the difference for y'all, I felt like, because y'all really had the same talent from the start of the season to the end of the season, but things really
Yeah,
clicked in the second half of that season, right?
it did.
Yeah, it's
They
crazy.
did.
And yeah, I felt like everybody really stepped up and had understood their role, which is so important in anything, like you said, and any sport. But for y'all to 11 games in a row, that's a big accomplishment at Salem, but that's a big accomplishment at any program in any division. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, Coach Ford, that was his first year as a head coach, stepping in after Williams had just stepped down last year and moved on to I forgot the school he went to, but somewhere in
He's at
Florida.
D1 Stetson.
Yeah, Stetson. Yeah, shout out Coach Will. But that was the first year for Coach Ford being a head coach. And like I said, for any level, any sport, you step in as the first year guy. I mean, you're gonna have, trials and tribulations that you got to go through. And for him to edge out Coach Williams' record last year, which we were 17-9 and 18-8, like, that, it's only one game, but it's progression. And like I said, to end the season on an 11-game win streak, and then we lost our last game, which sucks, but to end that and just to maintain the winning record, because I mean, Salem hasn't always been winning, so to maintain that winning record, and that was a pretty historical season, like you said yourself last year. That was a great season.
Absolutely. And you brought up Coach Will Williams. He was there before I was at Salem, obviously, but I know he
Yeah.
was. So he's the one who recruited you to Salem, right, Jordan?
Yep. He's the one.
So really, like, I know you played at a junior college. Bryant Stratton? Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Brandon Stratton.
So you want to talk a little bit just about how you ended up at Bryant Stratton and kind of where you, because right now, Jordan, you familiar with the series Last Chance U?
Yeah. Last chance you. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I love that series since season one. But the first four seasons they went football, and then they just did
Yeah,
a
and now they
basketball
changed the
series.
basketball. Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
watch it yet?
I haven't watched it, but one of my teammates told me to watch it, and he said there's a guy up there that reminds himself of me. He says a light skinned guy, and it's just like he
Oh,
plays just like me, acts like me, and all
I
that type of
I
stuff.
know which one he's talking about. It's one of the main characters. Yeah, light skinned dude. He's actually the point guard of the team.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's what he said too.
he's shorter than you though. He's probably like 6'2". But
Word.
he got an interesting story, bro. He was recruited at UTEP, Texas El Paso, and
Yeah.
he ended up getting his Scully pulled,
Mm.
not pulled, but like he didn't get the official offer for it. So he walked on at UTEP and played there for a year and was getting his Scully. And then the new AD ended up coming in like right before that and told the coach that they weren't going to get that Scully for him. So
Damn.
he walked on and bet on himself, earned the Scully, and ended up not getting it.
Dang.
So yeah, it's a real tough story. He
That
ended
is
up
tough.
happy ending though for him. He ended up getting a full scholarship to Sacramento State D1 to play his last couple years. So happy ending for him. But I just think that it'd be interesting for you to watch that show, and I'd like to see how you'd compare it to your time at JUCO, because I feel like JUCOs are all so different. But you want to speak a little bit about your experience, how you ended up at a junior college, and kind of what your experience was when you were there?
Yeah, I will say, coming out of high school, like I told a lot of guys on the team, like coming out of high school, I definitely was never considered to be like the best player on the team. And coming out of high school, it wasn't too many people that was like really necessarily, I would say, like not rooting for me, but like was not. They were. It wasn't too many people that was thought I was gonna like be good, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah, they weren't high
And
on you.
yeah, they weren't high on me. And to follow up on that, my grades weren't the best in high school either. Like I wasn't. It's not that I was failing or flunking. I passed every grade, but as far as just having a high GPA and maintaining that, I was never that type of kid. So on having not so successful grades and not being the best player on my team, it was like, he might just be a fish in the sea, just a normal fish in the sea or whatever. But I give a lot of credit to Coach Graves, which is actually I forgot where he coaches at now, but I want to say Catawba is where he went to school at and coaches now. But he's actually the coach that recruited me to get to Bryan and Stratton, and sort of kind of like the same situation. He never coached me, just like Coach Williams never coached me. Like, so
Wow.
even at my JUCO, the guy that recruited me never coached me. So in that sense, my JUCO was a little bit different. JUCO is definitely I would say it's a JUCO college, so it's not like it's bad players, because everybody there is there for a purpose, and everybody there is trying to better themselves and make it out of JUCO. Nobody's trying to stay in JUCO.
Yeah, they're
So it's
trying to get
definitely
to the next level.
there's a lot of competitors, and it's a big competition market for sure. But my transition to Salem, Coach Will actually heard about me from one of my JUCO opposing coaches. And I guess he knew Coach Will, ended up contacting him, and Coach Will ended up seeing about 2 of my games, and he ended up getting my number, and we ended up talking. And I remember coming on a visit. It's crazy. Me and my mom was just talking about this, coming on a visit to Salem. And I mean, the pitch was cool. Obviously, a lot of people are influenced by one class a month. That reels a lot of people into Salem. Like, dang, and like I just said, I wasn't the best like student athlete in high school. So it was just like, yeah, dang, one class a month, that kind of fits me. I think I can really go on that.
Yeah.
So Coach Will got me to basically sign. And then when I heard he was leaving, it was cool, because I knew he was moving on to a better situation. But it was like, dang, this don't happen again. Like, the same person that recruited me is not even gonna coach me. But like I said, I always feel like I'm a loyal guy. So even when my JUCO coach said he was leaving for a better situation, I'm like, bump it, I'm gonna stick it out. And it was the same way for Salem. Like, Coach Will was leaving, it was like, bump it. They picked Coach Ford. I trust Coach Ford, and I trust my ability, so I'm gonna stay. So it was just like that, really.
That's crazy that it happened to you twice, man. Because like,
Yeah,
one time is like, all right, like it happens. Twice is like, man, this doesn't make any sense. Getting
yeah, it
unlucky.
doesn't make any sense. Almost like it was just bound to happen. Once I knew it happened twice, I'm like, man,
It was bound to
that's
happen. I
crazy.
like that.
Yeah, it was
There,
like whatever.
some
It already happened once, so it was like once it happened again, it was kind of just, it was like a brush off the shoulder. It wasn't a big deal.
For sure. We're talking about so your school, was it a D1 JUCO, or was it below that?
I believe it was below that. I don't think it was a D1 JUCO at all.
I can't remember. Is it D1, D2 JUCO, just like NCAA, or is there D? I can't remember what JUCO.
Nah, I don't think there is a. It might be D3 JUCOs out there, but I don't think it is. I think it's just D1 and D2s,
I
to be
got you.
honest.
So you was at a
I
D2
think,
JUCO.
yeah,
Um,
I believe I was at a D2 JUCO.
So on your JUCO, you said in high school you weren't the best player on your team, but I mean you were a starter most years, right? And like a key player on the team, or what was your high
Yeah,
school
yeah.
experience?
Freshman year, actually, my freshman year, I didn't play. My dad took me off the team for my grades. Sophomore year, I came off the bench, and then my junior year, I started, and then my senior year, I was the third best player on the team.
I got you. So I mean, are you from the Virginia Beach area, or Norfolk? I can't remember.
Uh, I'm about 45 minutes away from Norfolk, Newport News,
Okay, okay.
closer to Hampton, Virginia.
Oh, okay. Hampton. Yeah, and
Yeah, Hampton.
what's Hampton College is out there, and they're in that same conference as Norfolk State too.
Yeah, I was about to say Norfolk State and Hampton University.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we whenever I
Mm-hmm.
was in college, we took a trip out there and played both of those schools when we was in Virginia Beach, and so you're in that area. So I imagine you probably had some teammates and stuff that played at those two schools, didn't you? Or kids you played against?
That went to
Ha-
Hampton University and Norfolk State.
yeah,
Yeah, actually, Jermaine Merrill, a lot of people probably might know him. He's actually in Paris right now, but he's actually the league leader in Virginia all-time points in college. I mean, yeah, in Virginia he has the most points in Virginia as a state whole, Jermaine Merrill. And then I have a buddy right now that goes to Norfolk State as well, Devontae Carter. They just made it to the March Madness. They play
yes,
Appalachian State on Thursday, I believe. So
yeah. They're in a
shout
play.
out those
I
two
think they're in the
guys.
play-in game, like the play-in game.
Yeah. Matter of fact, that's what it is. They're in the playing game
I
to
mean,
get in.
they
Yeah,
still made the dance, but I think they play
they
the
still
one.
made the dance.
They play the one seed, I believe, if they win, which would be super cool experience, obviously.
Yeah, it would be a dope. It would be a dope experience.
For
But yeah,
sure.
those probably the two most I guess more more familiar more familiar guys that I have played against that more people might know. Devontae Carter and Jermaine Merrill.
For sure, man. So, talking about, you weren't the best player on your team in high school, but you was a key player. What was your experience
Yeah.
like at JUCO as far as that? Like, were you the star player at Bryant Stratton, or
Yeah.
yeah,
At Brown and Stratton, yeah, for my first year that I came in, I'm not gonna lie, like the first 4 or 5 games I didn't start because like I told you, I had a coaching change and I knew the coach, but I didn't really know the coach. You know, I've heard of him, but I didn't. Coach Coleman, to be exact, is my dog now, but at the time I didn't know him, and
yeah,
I was missing a lot. I was missing a lot of summer workouts at the time, and I really thought like things were just going to be kind of sweet, and I was going to come in and start and try to do my thing. But Coach Coleman quickly sat me down and taught me a reality check. Like that's not how things are about to go. And he sat me for like the first four or 5 games. And after that, like I said, we had that conversation. Like if you're gonna be a true pro and you're gonna be like a real time like consistent player, like you can't continuously to miss workouts and just show up when you want and come in here lazy, come in here play hard when you want. Like this got to be a consistent thing. So until you start getting consistent, your minutes will be inconsistent. So I started changing a little bit in JUCO and realizing like this is a job that I want to do, not just something I want to do for the next 2-3 years. Like I'm trying to continue to do this and make a living off of it so I can feed family and myself. And after that, after like the first 4 or 5 games, I started, and then I had a pretty good year my first year, but my second year at JUCO was definitely my like coming out party, and I won Player of the Year that year as well. And I can't remember what we were record wise, but we ended up losing in the first round of the playoffs, and that was matter of fact, it was the second round of the playoffs, and I remember Coach Williams told me if I were to win that game, he was actually going to come see me live play because he watched like through the link my first playoff game and then our second playoff game. But he had told me if I would have win that second game, the second playoff game, he was going to come to the third playoff game. And I remember that was like it was yesterday, and we ended up losing. I'm like, dang, coach can't even come see me play now. Like, I don't even know where I'm gonna be at next year, but it's still all up in. It ended up working out, but yeah, JUCO my first year, it was like this kid is good, but he's not really here to work hard. And the second year, I would say I matured a lot. Like I said, I ended up winning Player of the Year, and my coach won Coach of the Year, and that year was just great for me, really.
And it's funny to me, Jordan, that you talk about that a little bit. Your first year, you weren't really ready to work hard, and you didn't really understand the grind. And it's probably funny for you to look back now because of how hard you've worked since then and where you've came
Yeah.
since then. And you're just a kid coming out of high school, really, like 4 or 5 years ago. Do you think that's pretty common for most high school basketball players to come into a smaller college program and be a little nonchalant or maybe even cocky to a point of feeling like they don't have to work hard to to get to start or to be one of the key players on the team?
I would definitely say that plays a factor in definitely today's generation because like I didn't even play much AAU ball. I only played 1 year AAU ball out of my whole life, but I know like now AAU it's a little bit different. Like it's a lot of like AAU doesn't really teach the kids how to play like proper basketball. It's a lot of ISO. It's a lot of super stacked teams. And in college, yeah, they're stacked teams, but at the end of the day, most people are going to be equal. And on college, all it takes is for you to lose one game and your season is over. It's not like the NBA where you got to beat a team 4 times when the playoff comes. And, that really shows who's the better team. But in college, it can be any given day that you can lose. So, I mean, I think it does play a factor in people being like not overly confident, but a little bit like too cocky on themselves. And it can mess people up, because I know some people they wouldn't go to JUCO route or they wouldn't go a D2 route because of the name. But in all reality, I mean, if you can play wherever you're at, people are gonna find you. People are gonna look for you. Your numbers gonna show. So I never been the type of kid to be like, I have to go to D1 or I have to go here. I have to go to a big time, so and so. Like, I believe with my talents, I can make it out from wherever. And I know some people, they put down going to JUCO for a year, or they put down sitting out in redshirt in a year, or they put down going to a D2 or a D3, But I know guys that go to D3. I know guys that go to D1, So I do think it plays a factor. But overall, I would just say, I mean, you got to go where you're comfortable at. You can't go where everybody think you should go. Like, if you're comfortable here, you should stay there, or you should try to go there. Don't try to go where everybody wants you to go. You got to really be comfortable, because coaching has a big play in whether you play good. For real.
Yeah, coaches are important for sure. But you also bring up something else, man. Like, people don't like the average basketball fan, or like, let's say a casual basketball fan who only watches D1 basketball and is familiar with Power 5 basketball. They don't understand the levels so much of just how good some junior colleges are, or some D2 programs are, or NAI. There's some really good NAI schools as well.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that level because, like, they just ignorant to it, right? Like, they just aren't familiar with it or never watched it. But, like, it was so evident this year in a COVID year, Jordan, because there was tons of D2 schools playing D1 schools earlier in the season, and there was quite a few D2s that beat D1 schools. And, like, people that are in the game, they wasn't even a bit shocked, because if you watch the level of basketball, it's very similar. There's not a lot of difference between a good D2 and, like, a low major or like a lower level mid-major program. It's really similar rosters, like similar size teams, similar talent. Like, it just really depends on where the dice rolled on that night. And for y'all, even, I'll just give y'all as an example. Y'all had Division I Delaware. Would y'all lose by 1?
I want to say it might have been 1 or 3.
It was like
I think it was 1.
It was a bucket, something like that. Y'all lost by 1 score.
A single possession game. Yep.
Yeah, and y'all, and credit to y'all, but like, y'all aren't a nationally ranked D2 or nothing like that, and y'all very easily could have beat Delaware at Delaware. So
Facts.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's literally just it's a 1 possession game. So like, it's crazy that for people still to this point in the era of information and just how good the level of basketball is at every level, like you mentioned. And I think that's what I like Last Chance U, because it gives you a real good look at like what top level JUCOs are and the level of talent that they have. I mean, the good level JUCO, like the top ones, they're sending almost all their players to D1 schools, and if not D1, they're going D2. So,
Facts.
I mean, there's ballers at every level, like you mentioned. It's really not.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter if you go to a big school and you don't work hard, then you're going to get passed up by the dude who goes to a smaller school but works his ass off every day,
Yeah, that's big facts. I mean, it's a lot of pros to make it out of JUCO. Just to name a couple. I mean, Cam Newton went JUCO.
Jimmy Butler
went JUCO. Like,
those guys.
There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys that have made it out, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't even know too much about baseball, but I know there's a lot of guys that go out of JUCO from baseball, Like,
JUCO,
I know a couple, like, personally myself.
Baseball actually produces the most pros.
I was just about to say, I want to say that, but I was like, I'm not the baseball fact man, but I know it's a lot of guys that go from JUCO to the pros in baseball for sure.
There's the top level JUCO programs in baseball are totally disgusting, bro, because they get a lot of dudes, like foreign dudes that like they don't have the grades and stuff to get in, and like these are dudes that are basically already pros.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you get dudes in JUCO that are 25, 26 years old, sometimes 27. I mean, these are grown men. So you coming in as an 18-year-old freshman, you are at a huge disadvantage.
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah, you're still a kid, man. Like, you haven't even been in the weight room much yet, So an 18-year-old kid, I mean, you got no chance going up against grown men half the time.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that, but I don't know. It's just, To me, man, I just respect the hustle so much because I know what goes on behind the scenes, and I just respect every level. And no matter who you're playing against, man, the name on the jersey doesn't matter because, like you said, at any given day, your season could be over in one game.
Facts, and that's how I really truly look at it. Like in college, the level is so much closer than what it is on pro. Like pro level, you can definitely. I mean, there are distinguishes in levels, and like I said, their setups are a little bit different. Like even in baseball, like it's not just a 1 game series. This is a 7 game series where you got to beat a team 4 times. It's not college is 1 game. That's all. It legit. That's all it takes. So like you said, the name on the jersey, it really don't matter. If you're not coming out to play, then any given night you can be beat.
Absolutely, man. So, Jordan, I know we talked a little bit about like what was your recruiting situation like though? Like when you visited Salem and that was your offer, did you have other offers on the table, or what was kind of the deal like when you was getting recruited out? What were you looking at?
So there were a couple other offers on
Mm-hmm.
the table. And to be exact, I want to say I might have could have went to about maybe five to six schools. I want to say 2 was in Florida, 1 was Salem. I could have went to Hampton University, could have went to Norfolk State, I could have went to Virginia State. And I mean, it was a whole lot going on at that time. It was kind of like I wanted to stay. I did want to stay close to home, just because I've always even my JUCO that was like 30 minutes up the road. So it was kind of like I kind of want to stay home. I don't want to be apart from home. But like I said, I feel like I went through another like maturity stage, and I kind of like talked myself into saying like like if you stay home, like I mean nothing at home is going anywhere. Like if you want to actually change and be different, you might have to step outside yourself and go somewhere that gonna have to be on your own for a little bit, or just away from home. Like you ain't got to be under mom's roof all the time and just see the same people. You might have to get out and venture by yourself. So regardless of whatever school I chose, I was gonna have to sit a year because of my grades. I was gonna have to redshirt regardless of what school I went to. And what nailed it down was Coach Williams was giving me a free scholarship, and so was HU, Hampton University. And those were only 2 schools that were like basically giving me full rides.
Yeah.
So those were basically the 2 choices that it came down to. And then deciding out of there was basically it came down to a couple things, but like I said, I could have stayed home and went to HU, but it was like, I I don't know if I want to do that. And like I just told you, one of my mans that go to Hampton, well, that did go to Hampton University, Jermaine Merrill, it would have been nice to play with him, but at the same time, I knew that was kind of his thing. So it was like it was his show. And going to Salem, it was just kind of like a new start. And I really did like Coach Williams. Like he actually not came to my house, but got me out of the house, got to meet my parents. Like really, he was the true coach that really reached for me, was contacting me every day. And I just felt like that showed a lot. Like if you really want to be with the person and you really want this person on your team, or you really want this person to come see what you have, you're going to be like really interested in that person. You're going to contact them. You're going to communicate with them. And he was doing those things at a very high level. And that was kind of like the icing on the cake. And like I said, when we went on the visit, it was like, dang, 1 class a month. He had like the whole room set up for me. He had the 10 jerseys in the locker room and stuff. He had the protein shakes and just, he had everything lined out, and was basically just saying like he done sent about, I can't remember what was the number, but it was about 26 pros. He done like he between him going to Marshall and a couple other colleges that he has been to, he's been around like 26 pros, or sent 26 pros to overseas and just stuff like that. So it was a big, I would say, blessing meeting Coach Williams, because he definitely helped me go to Salem for sure. Like that was a big push for him.
Yeah, and I know the recruiting process is so big for kids, man, because it's like you said, it's nice to feel wanted, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna go where the coach wants you the most, and because then you're gonna be important to the program when you get there. You got a place. You're gonna have a good chance to start, and you're gonna have a good chance to make it your own. I know you mentioned, you didn't want to go to Hampton because that was somebody else's thing, right? You didn't want to go play second fiddle exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think with me and Jermaine, it could have worked because me and Jermaine actually played on the same middle school team and the same high school team. So we already had connection. And like I said, that's really, I've been knowing Jermaine since I was in sixth grade. So we definitely have chemistry. But as far as being on the court, it was like, I don't know. I just don't know. And like I said, the coach that recruited me to JUCO, he was even at Hampton University. So like I said, it was probably going to be a win-win for me regardless of where I went, because even if I would have went to HU, still would have been close to home. That's 30 minutes up the road. I would have been playing with basically my blood brother and my JUCO coach that left me, you know, at JUCO. So it would have still been like a little family reunion. But like I said, something in me was just basically like, you know, if you want to change and you want to get outside of yourself, you might have to leave home. You know, you might have to go adventure a little bit and not stay home. So I feel like I definitely don't regret anything. I love Salem for the basically 3 years that I've been there. It's been great.
Yeah, so you've been 3 years now. I know you mentioned you said you had to sit out an entire year. So what was your first year sitting out at Salem like, and what did you learn about yourself during that year? Because I know you being the player you are, you probably didn't have a lot of fun sitting on the sidelines for games that year versus getting to play in them.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. Like, that year was very, very challenging. Like,
Yeah.
redshirt year, you can't play, you can't travel on the road, but you got to do everything else. You got to practice. You got to wake up for the 5 a.m.s. You got to be in the weight room. Like, you don't get to miss anything but the fun stuff.
Yep.
So it definitely was challenging. And I loved when we had home games because I was always there for support. I'm always on the bench going crazy. But I could just remember like a few times of just seeing the opposing team walk in the gym, and it's like, wow, I wish I was playing today. Like, these guys look like they're trash. Like, like we have to win today. It looks so easy out there. But redshirt year was it helped me a lot though, because sitting on the bench and just watching the whole time, learning the system, learning how Coach Williams was as a coach, even learning how Coach Ford was as an assistant coach, learning all my teammates' tendencies from Sean to Fonz, you know, to Mark to Lex. I mean, it was huge my redshirt year, just sitting out and really observing and just learning the system, learning how everybody likes to play, what everybody can't do. And it was a big learning tool. So it definitely helped me coming into the next year just to see how things should be handled and, you know, how coach wants things to be. So I would definitely say it was very, very helpful, but extremely challenging at the same time.
Absolutely, man. I'm sure you learned a lot about yourself that year because, like you just mentioned, like you're doing all the crappy stuff and none of the fun stuff. Like all the 5 a.m.s, all the workouts, all the practices, you know what I mean? But you don't get to travel on the road. You don't get to play in the games. Definitely wouldn't have been easy. And but I mean, you took that your first year playing at Salem last year, actually getting to be, you know, play in the games turned out pretty well for you, you know, both statistically and team record. So
Yeah.
To me, man, it seems like you're almost like when you're out there. I feel like Coach Ford trusts you so much. You're almost like another coach out there.
Yep.
Would you say that your year sitting on the sidelines that actually helped you in that regard?
Yeah, it definitely helped me become a better just expand my IQ just for Salem's level as far as like how our system is ran, and we like to run 4 out with a lot of pick and roll, a lot of 3-point shooting, and it helped me just become a leader as far as just even like I said, my redshirt year when it's a timeout or it's media timeouts or whatever. Like, I'm the first one running off the bench trying to just tell somebody something just because I was eager to get in the game. It's like, I know I can't get in a game, so I got to tell somebody what I just saw, you know? So, and even like helping Fonz out because that was his freshman year. And I know he went through a lot of freshman pains of wanting to play coming straight out of high school, knowing you have the ability to play, but also knowing like it's a lot of upperclassmen on the team that you're not over yet. So you're going to have to wait your turn. And some games not playing, some games playing heavy minutes. And then when you play good, it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to be playing good the next game. No, you have a bad game. Now you're all in your mental. So even helping Fonz out with his freshman year, it was a good experience that I had. Cause like I said, learning about yourself and just like picking up your weaknesses help. Cause leading is a big part to a team. Like, if you can't lead, then or if you don't have a good leader, your team probably has a limit.
For sure, man. And that's true in all walks of life, Jordan. Like no matter what, there's got to be a leader. It doesn't matter if you're working a job or what sport it is, or no matter what, man. You got to have a strong leader, and people have to follow by example. So for me, I've always thought like the best cultures had strong coaches who the players
Yep.
respected. And then the coach always, I feel like, in my opinion, needs a couple guys that captain level, either captains or captain like that kind of make sure that everything else stays in line, that they can depend on and trust.
For sure. I mean, at the end of the day, like the coach can coach, but the players have to play. And I tell the guys all the time, like coach might say this, or coach might want you to do this, or coach might want you to do that, but coach not on the court at the end of the day. So if you see something as a player on the court, you might have to just react as a player instead of thinking, well, coach told me to do this. Well, if you go do this and you complete that, does coach get on you? Or is coach going to clap you up and say, good job, or smack you on the butt and say, good play. That's what we need more. Like, so sometimes I just feel like as like you said, the coach definitely needs coaches on the court, an extension of the coach, because that also helps take pressure off the coach. If the coach don't have to be screaming at his top of the lungs all game or call every single play, like you need players on the floor that are coach like as well.
Yeah, he's got to have guys he can trust at all times, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That man, like for y'all, especially like for you specifically, man. I know you've developed so much. You talked about you weren't highly recruited out of high school. You really weren't highly recruited out of JUCO. Even after you were Player of the Year, you had some good offers. Had a D1 offer. For you, man, how have you been able to? What's really been your secret as to getting better every single year? Because it seems like to me, since you were 15, 16 years old, every single year you've managed to get better. And probably there was a time when people didn't think you would keep improving, and you've continued to gradually improve. What would you really say is a testament to that?
Big testament to that, I would say, is a different mindset each year, a maturity level, and having people around me telling me the right stuff, and me kind of being willing to listen and block out certain stuff, because like a lot of times, I mean, even a big shout out to my dad, like he would always tell me, like, you have everything in the book, but you got to work on your shot. Like you have to be able to shoot better. And a lot of people, even like my JUCO coach would always tell me, like, I mean, you're a good offensive player, but you're not that good on defense. You move slow on defense. So people around me challenging me, I would give a big test to that. And like I said, I would just give a big I guess a big clap on my back just for maturing and being able to listen and not take everything like personal or to the heart, because constructive criticism, a lot of people, they don't like it, or they can't take it or don't want to hear it. Like I've learned over the years, like constructive criticism from the right people is what you need, to be honest. So I would say a lot to do is with the people around me, and like I said, me being able just to listen, interpret what they're actually saying.
You bring up such a good point with, for one, it sounds like to me you had a really great support system, and that's really nice to hear. And I could see that in the way, the way you move, that you've got a great support system, parents who support you and love you, which is really important. And not everyone has that, so shout out to that. But,
Facts.
It seems to me like you've kept a strong friend base, and you've had some mentors along the way that have challenged you the entire time and never gassed you up too much. And that's important too, because you talked a little bit earlier about something about this generation, but people don't like criticism these days. People think they take criticism to heart. They think that if I'd say, Jordan, you need to work on your, I don't know, we'll just make something up. Jordan, you got to work on your 3-point shot, bro. You can't take that to heart, right? You can't. That's not a personal attack on you.
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge, bro. It's because I want you to be better at shooting threes, or it doesn't matter what it is, better defender, whatever. But like, you can't. That ain't a personal attack on you. That's because I want you to be better at that. And these kids these days, I think, are taught. I don't know if it's a parenting thing, or just I don't know how to describe that. But kids don't take criticism very well, and they kind of almost clam up and crawl into a shell. when it comes to that. And I've noticed that as a coach as well.
I would say that that could fall on a little parenting thing, because even my dad has said, like, even this generation, he sees it, like, sometimes, like, the parents are scared of their own kids, like, to say something or to, like, really speak up or put them in line or put them in check. Like, it does start from the house and it does start from the home. Like, if, like you just said, on all aspects of life, like, if you don't have a leader, it might be tough, and that goes as well in the household. Like, if you don't have anybody talking common sense or leading you in the right direction, or, telling you the truth, then when you hear it outside of your house, you might not actually want to hear it, or might respond to it in just not a appropriate tone.
Yeah,
And I
and
might not be used to it.
we all need friends who challenge us and want us to get better. And your true friends are going to be the ones, like you just said, who tell you the truth. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want my friends telling me the truth or lying to me to make me feel better. Those are the
No
people.
sugarcoating.
Yeah, man. Those are the
Yeah.
people that I trust to tell me, like, if I'm bad at something, or if I need to get better at something, or if this podcast sucks. So I want my friends to
Right.
tell me that, right? I mean, if it's terrible and your ears are bleeding afterwards, please tell me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't gas me. Gas me up if you feel it's appropriate, but if it's not, just let me know, because I want to get better, man, and I know you want to get better. So it's just this type of world that we live in, and it's so refreshing to hear that from you. And honestly, I expected that answer from you, but it's just nice to see that you've been able to continue developing and take the criticism and turn it into a positive, and just keep on going, man. That kind of seems like your MO. Just keep pushing
Nah,
forward.
for sure. Just keep pushing forward. I mean, like I said, I mean, even just on all life aspects, I mean, it's a lot of stuff that it's just gonna happen from day to day. And shoot, I think everybody can attest to it, from just having the year that everybody just had in 2020. Like, everything can change in basically of a snap of a finger. Like, I know a lot of people done lost a lot of people in 2020. A lot of rules done changed in 2020. Just the whole society has kind of changed. Presidency, all this type of stuff that's been going on in the world. Like, it can go up, it can go down, it can stay the same, but you just got to stay afloat. Just got to keep moving, keep pushing forward, control what you can control. Can't control
Absolutely.
everything.
You all those things you just mentioned, man. You gotta control what you can control. Outside factors that you can't control in any way, you can't let it affect you too much, because you literally have no say in it. So
Facts.
you know what I mean. So you, like you said, just keep moving forward. And talking about keep moving forward, man, you're about to be a college graduate here in May, right?
Yeah, I believe I graduate in the spring, and actually, see, and that's a bad habit I have with me, keeping up with my academics. Like, I know at times I need to be more on top of things on my academics, and I believe I do graduate in the spring, though. I do believe I graduate in the spring, though.
Yeah, like this spring, right? Like just a couple more
Yeah,
months.
this spring, yeah, a couple more months.
About to be a
It's
college
it's,
graduate, man. That's exciting
it's,
news.
about to, it's about to be here, right around the corner. So
Yeah, it's a big accomplishment too. And I don't want to get too into it. And I don't know if you've made these decisions yet, but I mean, you're about to graduate, and I know you have another year of eligibility because of COVID.
yeah.
What's the thought been with you moving forward into that, or have you made a decision yet, or kind of what's in your head right now?
I would say I haven't made a decision, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time I have. Breaking it down. Obviously I do have everybody has a say so on if they want to come back, if they return as a senior. And I do think I am going to return as a senior to come back and further my education and just my whole college experience, period. Now, me and Coach Ford did have a conversation right before Christmas break, right before, yeah, I want to say like right after our last game on December 12th or something like that, about just my plans for this year coming up, and what I was going to do. And I basically just told him, like, Coach, I don't feel as I would transfer to another school. Like, one, I don't think kind of how you just said, basically on the chance, the guy took a chance on himself,
Yeah.
and it didn't go the way he wanted, but then all in the end it came back and he ended up getting another I believe it was another scholarship or somewhere to
Yeah, he got
what
a
was it?
he got his D1 scholarship finally.
Got it.
Took him
Yeah,
three
got his D1
years.
scholarship. So in essence, like me transferring to a D1 school, I just told him basically, like, to me, that wouldn't make too much sense because that would be my first and last year at that one school. So that would be a huge risk and a huge, like, just jump out on faith for me And for me, it's like I said, if you're comfortable where you at, there's no need to move. So I told him basically like the only way I could see myself not coming back to Salem unless I go overseas. So I basically told him like I'm coming back, but unless I get some overseas information or overseas offer or overseas negotiator, then I'll be back for Salem next year.
So really, your options would be to come back to Salem for to be a 5th-year senior, or actually for you, really, would be your 6th year, huh?
Yeah, because my redshirt year.
Yeah, 6 years.
Yeah.
And so it's either that or try to play pro ball. And I know you ultimately your goal is to get a professional contract somewhere, correct?
For sure.
So basically, you're gonna feel it out, and if there's no contract available for you this summer, then you're gonna come back and get your masters paid for and run it back one more time at Salem.
Yeah, run it back one more time. Which, like I said, I mean, just to get the last college experience, like I said, I mean, I really I know everybody doesn't get or wants to go to college, and it's definitely not for everybody. I done seen a lot of people drop out or just period. The money got too much, the schoolwork got too stressful, and college can be, an MF for like if you don't take care of your stuff, but it also can be like some of the funnest times of your life, when you're right in your prime of your 20s and you're having fun, you're going to parties, you're in athletics, you're doing this, you're doing that. It can be fun. So just for me personally, like I said, I've loved my time at Salem. I've met a lot of nice people, a lot of genuine people in my life at Salem. So like I told Coach, I mean, I'm comfortable at Salem. I like Salem, so I'm pretty sure like I'll be back next year.
That's amazing, man. That's pretty cool that you're gonna use your last year, and obviously, I'm sure to you, anyways, it feels like you probably got a little bit of unfinished business left at Salem, anyways, huh? With
I do,
this season
I
really
do,
wasn't
I do.
not a fitting ending to it, I would say. Your
It
career.
it wasn't the best fit for an ending, especially in my eyes. Like I said, we played 6 games. I would have loved to go in 6-0. You know what I'm saying? But we went 3-3. And just for a personal stat, like every year since my junior year of high school, every single year since my junior year of high school, I've always managed to get one triple double, and I've never got a triple double at Salem. And somebody told me I should do the research. I don't know if anybody has got a triple double at Salem before, but I know I haven't. And I've came close about maybe 4 or 5 games in these last 2 years, and I've never gotten one. And I definitely would like to get one before I go.
I'm surprised you haven't got one, man. I know you were
I
close.
know,
You were
man.
close a couple times last year. You had to be. I remember the
And,
stats.
and I was the first year to get the first game of the year this year. I had 23 points, 13 rebounds. 23 points, 9 rebounds, 13 assists.
Wow.
It's been a couple games where I've had like 8 assists or like 8 rebounds where I'm like 2 off, but I have the double, but I'm like 2 off on the other one. So that has been annoying a couple times, but I would definitely like to reach one before I get out of Salem, because I haven't done that in the green and white yet. So
I got a stat line for you, bro. Tell me if you remember what game. 42
okay.
points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists.
That was that was at Salem versus A&B.
Yes, sir. Man.
42, 9 and 7. That's probably my best game at Salem.
Ooh. That was the best one last season for sure.
Yeah, that was a wild finish right there.
Ooh, that
27 in the second half.
Yes, sir. Yeah, actually, bro, at halftime. So, if you remember the other dude from AB, number 10, his name was Bo Cook.
He finished with like 30 something, I believe. 34?
He finished with 34, bro, but I think it was in the first half he had like 20, 22,
20.
24, something like that.
Yeah.
He went
absolutely. It was crazy.
I think he had like 9 points in the first 5 or 6 minutes. He hit like 3 or 4 threes to start the game.
Yeah, he slowed down in the second half, but boy, did he come out the gates crazy. I'm like, wow, he's hitting everything. Like, everything was going in the net. Like,
bro,
it was crazy.
He was 7 for 11 from 3 that game, 15 to 21 from the field for the game.
Yeah, I feel like, he was 7-11. I feel like he started out 7 for 7.
Dude, I'm pretty sure he did. I think he had 5 threes at half or something crazy like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he started out 7 for 7, and then he went cold.
Bro, in your 42-point game, you only had 2 threes. That's actually really impressive to me.
What was that, 2 for 4?
2 for 4, 8 of 9 at the free throw line. That's crazy.
Yeah, 42-7 on a crazy comeback win.
Yep.
That was definitely the best game
Y'all were
of all
down,
time.
I don't know,
Yeah, we were
15,
down
10,
21, I think, or 18 or
21.
something like that.
Y'all might have been.
They were,
It was
I
50,
think we were down 20 in that game, bro.
52-38 at half, and I think you're right. I think y'all was down more than that before halftime.
Yeah, in the second half, I think they ran the score up a little bit more,
That's
and then we ended up making a run.
that's crazy,
Because
man.
I remember that I had 27 points in the second half. Almost had 30 in the second half. That game was crazy.
It was really entertaining to be a part of, man. That was maybe the second most exciting game I was a part of. The one where y'all hit the buzzer beater was bonkers.
Yeah. When I drove down the middle, kicked it to Ralph.
Bruh, that game was
Yeah,
nuts.
that was another game. Oh, I forgot who that was. That was against Shawan, I think.
Yep, like that's against
Yeah.
Shawan. Fun fact: the head coach of that team is from the same hometown as me, and I actually know him.
Oh snap!
Yeah.
Did y'all speak? Did y'all speak before or after the game?
Not after the game, bro. They was pissed.
Not after the game.
I'm friends.
Yeah.
I was actually friends with both of their coaches. Their other coach I've known for like 10 years now. And man, that was actually the assistant coach who was fired up at the end of the game yelling at the refs. That was actually one of my friends. He was mad.
I can only imagine. Y'all definitely did not talk after the game.
Yeah, we didn't. If you remember specifically, there was this y'all were down like 7 points in the last. I want to say y'all were down 7 with like 2 minutes left. And y'all went into a full court press, and they turned it over a couple times. There was one play specifically where they called an offensive foul, and it was like one of those 50-50 calls, but y'all got a call that went your way on a 50-50 charge, and that really swung the momentum a little bit, and that's what they were mad about. But I told him after, because he's texting me, I said, bro, y'all literally blew a 7-point lead in less than 2 minutes. Like, no excuses.
Can't blame one call on that. Yeah.
You can't blame the Zebras on one call when y'all but that was a crazy game too, man. Y'all literally rode y'all was teetering on the line like so many games of that 11-win streak.
Of the 11-game win streak. That's why I said that 11-game win streak was something special, because it was a lot of close games, and we were finding ways to just keep pulling out victories over and over again.
Y'all had a close one with Bluefield State earlier in the season too, and a part of that win streak on the road. It was like a 1 or 2 point game, and then
we almost blew that game.
Yep,
we almost blew that game.
I was watching it on the live stream on Bluefield's site. And then, of course, y'all barely lost to Bluefield the second time. I think that was a 1-bucket game.
Yeah, I'm about to say that. Yep, that was at our house. That was the last game of the season.
Yep, last one.
They beat us on senior night. That was senior night.
Tough.
Yeah, that was tough. That was a tough loss.
A lot of good memories, though, for sure. It was a good time, and I'm excited for you that you're going to be back, man. That's exciting, and I'm sure Coach Ford is happy about it, hopefully.
Yeah, I know Coach Ford is definitely excited. Even me and Fonz was not texting, but when we were just talking on our last couple of road trips at a hotel, he was just saying, like, dude, like, when you leave, bro, it's gonna be hard to replace a number 10. And I'm like, yeah, it's definitely gonna be hard to replace me, but like I said, I mean, I'll be back next year, so we don't gotta replace me just yet.
Man, I say you go crazy enough next year to where there ain't no replacing number 10, just hanging in the rafters.
Oh, hanging in the rafters? I would love it.
That sounds good, huh?
Nobody else can wear 10 at Salem.
Man, why not, though? Why not? Do something special next year, and I don't see why anyone should ever wear that number again at Salem.
If I cap it off with another player of the year, I think that deserves it right there.
I think so too, man. That's all. Hey, man, you got to have goals, right? And obviously,
no, you do.
You've got big plans in the future, man. I'm so excited for you, and I just love the mindset and the mentality, man. And that's one reason why I was so excited to bring you on the podcast and just kind of chop it up with you and just see how your mind works and what you've been into.
No, for sure, bro. Like I said, like when you first reached out to me, I didn't even know you had like a podcast going on, and I'm like, oh, I'm definitely for that, bro. Like I've never been on one, but I'm definitely with that energy. Like I look at podcasts all the time, like, and it's just a good vibe to me. Like you just sit there, you chop it up, and obviously, you know, you're in South Carolina right now. I'm in Virginia. Like it would have probably been better if we were face to face. You know, we could vibe out a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? But it's still a good experience, bro. And I really do appreciate you asking me to come on, because I ain't doing nothing. So it was like, yeah, I get on, my bro. For sure.
Well, I'm glad you came on, man. I'm glad you had a good time. Obviously, we were happy to have you. And to reference your other thing, man, hopefully one day we'll get to do it in person. Hopefully next year after your season next year, or maybe before you go pro, find a way to do it in person. I think that'd be really cool for you too, or something like that.
Yeah, we could definitely do another one, bro. Anytime for sure.
I love that, bro. Well, I appreciate you so much coming on, man, and I'm gonna let you get off here. Enjoy the rest of your night, man, and just keep working hard. And hey, man, you're at the finish line. Go graduate, and yeah, you'll have that forever, bro.
Facts. We'll both be graduates from Salem.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Actually, we'll both have our masters from Salem, most likely, here soon.
That's facts, bro.
I love that. But I'm going to let you go, man. Appreciate you. God bless you. And have a good one.
All right, bro. You too, man.
Thank you.
No problem, bro.